Hi guys, welcome to some more Real Talk Dog Talk. I'm Tori.
And I'm Barb.
For those of you who have not joined us before, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com.
And for those of you who are regular listeners and have been emailing us, a few of you who I do know personally have texted me. Keep those questions and comments coming in. That's a really great way for us to come up with ideas for each podcast. So we love to get those.
And we have Enzo with us today.
Well, Jim was in here earlier. He's sitting underneath the table here.
Yeah.
And I think he's mad because Enzo has the dog bed.
Well, I mean, they could share it. It's big enough.
No, Enzo's fat.
That's a little harsh.
So Jim left angry, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but he will not come back up here.
No, I tried, but he stared at me from the bottom of the stairs.
He said, "Where's my bed?"
Yeah, with what I can only assume is a fu kind of face. I don't know.
Ooh.
I know it was a harsh look. I'm telling you. I'm like,
There's nothing worse than a Shiba Inu giving you an FU face.
yeah. Well, and if you know those dogs, it's possible. Okay, they
I
can.
believe it.
Yeah.
So actually, I was in the car this week talking to Cody about, the podcast and different things that we were talking about, and we hadn't really decided on a topic yet. And he mentioned something that he thinks is actually the most important thing to teach your puppy or dog.
What's that?
That is recall.
You know, recall is so important. I would agree with that. That's really
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Well, and I did ask him why, and he gave me a few reasons why he felt that they were why it's an important thing to teach them. One of them was dog fights.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose with other dogs, if you're out and about and they're not well behaved.
Well, and that's it too. Sometimes other dogs aren't going to listen to their owners.
Yep.
So definitely you need to have your dog able to listen to you. So
Yep.
you're able to call them off if there's any tension between, your dog or passing by one.
Yeah. Which does seem to be fairly common. No offense to anybody, but sometimes training gets put to the wayside here in the town I live in. There's a few dogs like that. So
So do they roam around the town or just people walking them or?
yep,
Uh-oh. Our equipment's clicking at us right now. We don't know why. Oh,
we
there
got
it
it.
goes.
We got it.
Actually, the answer to getting your equipment to work is not to hit it, but shake all the cords.
Yeah, just start flopping the cords around, and eventually something's gonna sit right.
Something is either going to stop or the podcast is over.
Right. Well, you'll find out what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Anyhow, so do you have troubles with people just letting their dogs run around, or what happens there?
So it's a couple different situations. And I'm not sure if I spoke about it before, but there's some kids that come around town that just don't really have a good handle on a couple different dogs that they're walking, and then also there are plenty of times where I'll see random dogs just running down the road and no owner to be in sight. You can't see anybody. And there's also people who just allow their dogs off leash and just really don't have a good handle on them once they're off the leash.
Right.
So
I think sometimes there's a few too many people that, think their dogs are really, really good and they don't need a leash or things along those lines where they just feel a little overconfident in their dog and they actually didn't apply themselves to training them.
yes,
And recall, I mean, for both parties, I mean, the person walking them off leash and say, you let your dog out and, oh, there's a dog there. You should both be able to recall your dog,
right,
get them
yeah.
out of the situation.
Well, I actually had an incident one time where I was unaware that an electric, they worked for the electric company. They were checking my meters, and they came into my fence without me knowing. Yeah.
So you have a privacy fence around your yard.
Yeah, so to me, I would think maybe don't go in that fence unless you're saying notifying the person that lives there.
Hmm.
Because there probably are dogs there, at least in the house. Well, I had opened the door and let one of my dogs out, and that guy was very, very close to the fence already, so he hopped over pretty quick. But if I didn't have good recall, that could have been a really big problem.
Right.
Because she saw him and was, of course, instantly upset. Who's in
Hmm.
my yard?
Which that is her job
Yep, it
to,
is. Yep,
watch out for your property.
yep. So, and just so you know, you can let the electric company know that you have dogs, and they need to let you know. They will. So,
That being said, you now have signs on your gate
yes, I do.
saying dogs in yard.
Yeah. There are just a few people out there that need a little bit extra clarification.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, and that is an excellent example of a recall. You were able to call the dog back, get them out of that situation. The person didn't get hurt.
yes.
Thank goodness he is agile.
No kidding. He
And,
was a short fella too, and he popped right over that fence. I was
Wow.
like, "Wow, yeah."
I
Just
would have
like,
had to step on the dog's head to get up over it.
yeah. He did have proper motivation though, I guess.
Yeah, a little adrenaline
Yeah.
boost. Yeah. So that is a really good one. Also with dog fighting, like with me, I do have, a large group of dogs, and um, I do not allow any fighting. But there are times like when the girls are in heat, I notice a little tension between them,
Yep.
and I do have to be able to call them out of a situation where I sense some tension going on.
Right, a potential problem.
So even within your own, if you have multiple dogs, even within your own group, uh, it's really nice to be able to call a dog out,
right.
and get them out of I'd say maybe a high,
High tension situation.
yeah, kind of a stressful situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the girls fight over things like a stick,
Yeah, well, it's a really nice stick.
or
Okay.
if they get a hold of a crushed jug.
Now
Mm,
that's like gold.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that is a really great reason to teach recall. And that kind of led into Cody's other one is other dogs off leash
Right.
is what he mentioned, and that is like when you're like Tori was saying around her town, some people walk their dogs without a leash on, and you have to be able to call your dog away from that dog, um, to distract them from any confrontation. Um, Another one that Cody had mentioned, which is really super important,
Mm-hmm.
is just the safety of, you know, traffic.
Traffic. Yep.
Cars going by, trucks going by, not seeing them. Dogs are low down. People don't always see them.
Well, and that's even, whether you're in the city, the country, it really doesn't matter because there's, driving out to, you live in the country, so, and I know there's a couple places where the dogs, they come out of the ditch and you don't even see them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you wouldn't think that you would, oh, it's fine, it's country, nobody's gonna, but it can still happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And, really, I guess I always have when it comes to, traffic, I do always have my dog on lead, because I don't want them to get hit, but being able to recall them, that is a really great safety measure. But, I was just thinking in my head, it's also super annoying when you're calling your dog in the yard and you have to get to work.
yeah.
And they don't want to come in because it's a beautiful day or night out, and they just want to frolic.
Would you just listen?
So recall is important for things that may not seem quite so, violent. Fights. You think of that, and getting hit by cars. But how about just trying to get to work on time? It's like, get over here.
I've been late. Plenty. Okay?
And you just can't, that is when recall is really another time that it's very handy to have if
Yeah.
you're trying to get them in out of the yard and get going with what you got going on for the day.
Well, and if you're a punctual person, it's gonna drive you nuts. Okay, so
That being said, Tori and I are neither one of us very punctual,
no.
so and it's not always because of the dogs, but it's a great excuse.
Yeah, it is. I blame them. Hmm.
So yeah, so that's another reason for recall. Though the thing about recall is, a lot of training you have to kind of couple it together, and uh, I have found that teaching your dog focus
Yep.
is kind of hand in hand with recall. And focus is something that's a really important thing to teach a dog, and it is actually not that difficult to teach them.
I feel like with training, there's a lot of similarities in different areas with that.
There are, so we had to break away for a moment because my notes are all blowing away.
Yeah. We got the window open, so.
So I had to fight with them for a moment. But focus is super important. It's kind of I don't know, some people might not agree, but I feel like it's a prerequisite to doing the recall. But when you're starting to teach focus, it's really best to start it in a small area, in your house, in your kitchen, in your yard, somewhere that's enclosed and it's a controlled area,
Yeah.
and reduce as many distractions as possible.
And there might still be a few. You can't really escape all distraction. That's just not possible. But,
In a regular household, that's true.
right. But you can really take a lot of the distractions away.
Right.
So,
Um, I always really hit hard on treats. Treats are a great motivator for dogs, especially if they haven't had their meal for the day or one of their feedings when they're hungry. They're a lot more responsive to those treats.
haven't you told me before that it's best to do training and all that when they haven't eaten first, just to.
That's when I think it's most, they're, like I said, most responsive to the treats. Because if they're full,
Yeah.
and you're telling them to sit or lay down, and you got a treat, they're like, I already ate.
I'm okay, really.
You can have it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And then they go lay on the couch. It's like, hey, get back here. I'm working with you, dog.
Right? We have things to do.
So I think it's best to do it when they're a little bit hungry. Or if you do clicker training, that's a great thing. I personally am not a clicker fan, but what you really want to do when you're teaching clicker training, or I'm sorry, focus training, is that you want to make sure that when you're dealing with the dog, it's actually kind of tricky because what you're going to do is you're going to have the dog come to you and sit directly in front of you. Now, this is my method, not anyone else's. I'm not saying this is how you have to do it, but this is what I do. And then you can pick a command, look at me, look, focus, watch me, whatever you want it to be, and get them to look directly at you.
Okay.
And you want them to make eye contact, which is really tricky. That's the part where they could be looking at the bird above your head,
Right.
or, anything behind you, and you think they're looking at you. So it's really important to get them to make eye contact with you. And then as soon as they do that, you want to give them a really positive praise and a treat. And sometimes that meeting of the eyes is only a matter of seconds. So you have to be really quick with the treat. So if you're not having very good luck with them just sitting in front of you and looking into your eyes, what you can do is take the treat and just hold it directly in front of your face, and their eyes, of course, will naturally follow the treat.
That is so weird.
And as soon as you get that meeting of the eyes, I mean, it might just be a matter of a second, give the verbal praise and give them their treat. And that's kind of my trick.
Well, and I know you've said before, sometimes that window of opportunity is very small.
Yeah.
So you really got to be on it when they're making that eye contact, it's instant, like, you know.
I learned that raising kids.
Oh, huh. That's odd how that works out.
Sometimes the window of good behavior with kids is very small, so you have to jump on those opportunities to tell them how wonderful they are.
Before you get mad again.
Especially with teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, so you got to watch for those small successes and give them great praises, even if it isn't a lot. You just have to really be super excited, give them the treat, and pounce on those moments of success. Um, but that is how I teach my dogs to focus, and it's been pretty effective. Let me think here. Once you have it to where in a enclosed area, a kitchen, living room, once you think you have that pretty well down pat, then you can start taking them outside and doing it where they are going to have distractions like birds.
Yep, squirrels.
Yep.
Traffic noises, really just noises in general.
Yeah, yeah. And anything can distract a dog like that. I mean, you don't think of it. Actually, it makes you more aware of all the noise around you when they're looking this way and that.
It really does. My dog Jim is hilarious because he'll be coming in and one leaf will blow in front of him and he pounces and forget it, you know. So.
Well, and his ears are like radar.
Yeah.
I mean, they just like turn to every sound. Yeah. Yeah. So, once you take them out, I would still have them in an enclosed area like a yard or even a garage. It's great to get them out around the distractions, but still you want to maintain control and work on that focus. And, after you get that, I mean, it's a progressive thing. Then after you have them in that enclosed area where they've got excellent focus and they're doing awesome, then you can start taking them on walks where you're stopping and getting them to come around in front of you and focus on you at that point too.
Yes.
So it's kind of a progression, and each step is important to actually complete successfully.
Right.
Before going on to the next, because it can be overwhelming for a dog.
Well, and if you go straight from, really having very minimal distractions and all that, and then you put them right on the street going for a walk, they're not going to get that. It's going to be too much, I think.
It's not setting them up for success, that's for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you really want to make sure that what you're doing is promoting, their ability to succeed. And anytime you train for anything, you want to end it on a positive note.
Right.
And I think you've mentioned a few times that you get really frustrated every now and then with dogs.
I do.
And
Yep.
if you jump ahead and skip steps and the dog's not getting it, you are probably going to end up frustrated more.
Well, and, I've made plenty of mistakes. I've had dogs throughout the years, so, I've made mistakes in training and all that. And part of the thing really is your dogs really do kind of read your emotions. So when you get frustrated and you try and skip forward, it has a huge effect. And then what happens, you end up spending that much more time. And you're still frustrated because, you got to start all over. Well, that's frustrating in itself.
Well, and you think you're saving time by skipping steps, but in all reality, it's delaying the training.
It is, yep. And I have made that mistake before because I do get frustrated, which I've had to work on myself with dog training as well, because it's just as much the person as the dog, I think.
Well, I think, honestly, I've made tons of mistakes with dogs, and I think anytime you have a pet, I mean, their personalities are different.
Yep.
And it's just the kind of thing where you have to, it's just always learning. It's like raising kids. I mean, not one kid is the same as the other, so you have to take any knowledge you have and apply it to that particular dog or kid.
Right. I can use, hand signals. They're not official. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me put that out there. But if I'm calling the dogs in, I can say Enzo and wave him in or call him that way, and he does listen. Now, He doesn't always listen that way. But
So he's not bomb proof?
he's not bomb proof, no.
Okay.
Uh, but I mean, that's just him. The other dogs look at me like, what are you waving your hand around for?
Right.
What do you know?
When I have a litter of puppies, one thing I do is Walmart has these little, they're like $2 rubber, I don't even know what they are. I think they're supposed to be like ugly dogs.
Oh,
They're
the
like a
wiener
wiener
dog.
dog kind of,
Yeah.
and they're green
Yep.
or blue or something like that.
Yeah.
And they make a ridiculous squeaky noise. And when I have a litter of puppies, I actually will keep those on hand and I just squeak them to get the dog's attention, and the puppies come running. And I do that. I did that a lot with Gabby when I was working with her. I do work at a group home, and Gabby was allowed to come with for a short time. And when I needed her to pay attention to me there, I would squeak her toy, and she would come over to me. So, even something like that is, I don't really like using tools to teach recall
Yeah.
because I don't always have the squeaky toy in my hand.
Yeah.
So if I'm out on a walk and I need a dog to listen to me, I can't run home and grab the squeaky toy.
Right.
So, and if I stuck it in my pocket, it'd be like
Yeah.
the whole walk. So I'm not
Not doing that.
not sticking some stinking squeaky toy in my pocket.
Right. We don't expect you to.
No,
either.
you do well if you want to. You can. It makes for a musical walk.
Maybe you like the squeaking toys.
Yeah. But anyhow, so that's a very simple thing when you first have a puppy. Another thing that actually Tori does is treats around the house.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good way to do things because, say I'm in my office, they're in the living room, it's across the house. I can give them a call, and when they respond to come to me and sit, I can give them a treat. Now, the only downside is Enzo, he sniffed those jars out.
Oh, so you have jars randomly placed around your house?
Yep, I have one in my office. I have one in my dining room, in my living room, and then one upstairs. So there's, pretty much anywhere you could be, I could grab a treat and do a recall and get them to come to me. It's one of those things where it's just all the time random, and they just get better and better, which that's kind of part of the training
Right.
too.
Well, it's good to have designated training time, but
Yes.
it's even just as good to, have just random time. When I'm cooking a meal, which is rare, by the way, if I'm cooking and the dogs are around me, I can call them in, give them a treat. It's random teaching. You can teach them to sit and lay while you're cooking a meal. It doesn't have to be a designated training time, but it's good to have that, and it's good to do the random training as well. So
Yep.
having treats around the house, and if they successfully recall, there's, something wonderful waiting for them when they come to you.
There is, unless your dog gets them.
And so you're out of them now?
Yeah, I gotta restock.
Enzo's fat.
Yeah, well, we use that word a lot with him, and
Is it hurtful, Tori?
look at him. He's look upset. Look, he looks upset.
We hurt his feelings, huh?
Yeah,
He's not hurt.
I had to wake him up.
Anyhow, she'll explain it to him later, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Anyhow, so yeah, random training is awesome too.
Because that's the thing, you're going to want them to be able to respond to you no matter where you're at. I mean,
Right.
yeah, if you're cooking, if you're in the bathroom, if you're upstairs, wherever you're at, you want to be able. So I feel like it's really good to incorporate that even while you're doing the actual training. Well, separate times, obviously, but.
Well, it just instills, oh, I'm being called, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And that just becomes a mindset for them. So it really isn't just about, being on walks or, like I said, recall. Sometimes you're running late for work or you got an appointment or something and the dog's fiddle farting around in the yard and it's like, come on, come on, come on, let's go.
I got
And-
places to be.
And, so recall is a super, super thing to teach your dog. So, once you get into teaching them the focus and, paying attention to you, there's so many little things you can do to encourage the recall. And if you don't feel comfortable using treats all the time, which I know actually Cody does not like using treats, he thinks
Oh.
a dog should just listen. And that's great in a perfect world. But if you're not comfortable with treats, you can always use, a favorite toy of a dog.
Yep.
You can have a couple of squeaky toys that they like hidden around the house, and when you call them, uh, they get to have their toy. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's different ways to do the recall.
Well, and I think the toy idea is kind of great because there's those little ones that you use for the puppies. Those are a fun noise. So the puppies being so small, I think they're just like, oh, how fun. But I think those are great. I wish I could use something like that because my dogs are a little hefty. But then they fight over it, so I don't know how rewarding that is to get stolen. so,
Well, there was one person who did training that, and I've heard of several people doing it, but they actually use the dog's kibble out of their measured amount of food for the day.
oh, really?
So if you
Huh.
give, like my dogs each get, two pretty hearty scoops of food a day, and so they would just take a scoop out of that, and it would be part of their food, and it was supposed to help with weight management. And honestly, if I were a dog, I'd be like, hey, that is just regular kibble. I ain't gonna sit down for no frickin' kibble.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
it's like I feel like they need a high value treat during training,
Yeah.
and Tori and I are working on making some treats, and I've used chicken nuggets, anything that just is just a special thing for the dog.
Yep.
I think is a little bit more motivating than their kibble.
You could even chop up like cheese sticks, cut them up into small pieces. My dogs love cheese, so that's
Mhm.
always a good motivator for them.
I gave Bolo a piece of banana.
Oh, did she like it?
No.
Oh.
As we've been trying different recipes for the treats that we're going to be selling, I've been kind of randomly giving my dogs little tidbits of different fruits and vegetables that I'd like to, have be ingredients. And, about it's a 50-50 shot. Sometimes they spit them back out at me, and I find them hidden under the couch cushion. Or sometimes they eat it, so it's kind of a crapshoot at my house. If you come to my house, you might sit on a pile of peas.
Yeah, well, watch your footing. You step on the wrong thing and it goes between your toes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
banana.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you told me that. She didn't like it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you hate to find slobbery bananas around the house. But anyhow, yeah, so, if you're not comfortable using treats, you can use toys, or you can start with treats and kind of work into just using toys, or you can just always do both. I mean, I think a variety is really great. The dog gets so that a little bit too much so they anticipate what you're doing.
Right.
So if you mix it up a little bit, I think that's really awesome because they don't know where you're going with it.
Well, and, one of the troubles, the having treats around the house is really a good idea. One thing you need to keep in mind with that is what kind of noise does that thing make? Because if it's too noisy, you don't get to recall them before you,
Oh,
like, they hear it,
yeah.
they're already there. Well, I haven't even told you to come here yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that's something to keep in mind too, which obviously they're supposed to come, but it's because you're saying it, not because they hear the food.
Well,
So-
Ziggy's naughty like that because he likes to be outside quite a lot, and so sometimes the jar that I have the treats in,
Yeah.
I just tinkle the lid a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, "Ooh,
What's
Okay.
that?
No.
Oh,
she's getting the treat."
Oh, I better go. I better go.
So that is true. You're right about that. We'll have to do some research
Yeah.
on quiet lids.
Yeah, I know, right? We got to figure that one out, yeah, because
Yeah.
because I'm a treat person. I think treats are great, but I also have fat dogs, so It
Oh,
could
now
be.
you're just being harsh.
Oh, I'm harsh.
Enzo is absolutely adorable, and he is not fat, but he is well built.
He is, well, yeah. He again, hefty. I like the word hefty
Mm,
because there's a lot to that guy.
there is.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so yeah, so those are some ideas on recall, and I actually kind of slipped in a little bit of focus on that one, but super good thing to think about when you're doing your training, and even being a responsible dog owner, for interacting with other dogs. So,
Right. And you really do want to do that no matter where you're at because even if you're in the country, I mean, there may be instances where you and your dog have to interact with other dogs. Vet visits are an excellent example because you always got to get your dog taken care of.
that's true. There's vet visits, and then also, out in the country, there really are issues with like wildlife.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
And I know I've had bears just across the road from my place, and everyone thinks, oh, the dogs will keep the wildlife away. Well, I do not want to risk my dog's safety for getting into a scuffle with wildlife, whether it's a bear or a badger or a raccoon. I do not want them to get injured because they've gotten into something. So that is an excellent example of, I want to be
Right.
able to call my dogs off if that sort of thing is going on out there.
Right. Because you have a fence around your yard, so if if there's any escape or
Ziggy.
you know,
Yeah. Ziggy is my Houdini. He is over and out the gate whenever he can figure it out. So,
it's
um,
it's super funny because he's very large and not very serious looking, but that guy, he can get out of anything. I'm telling you.
yeah.
He's,
We were taking pictures of him this last weekend, and it was really funny because the wind was blowing pretty hard,
yep.
and he is my only floppy eared dog.
Yes.
And his ears were standing straight up in the wind, and his saggy face was blowing, and his eyes looked like they were bulging out of the socket because his
It was
was blowing.
great.
It was just ridiculous looking. But
Yep.
Ziggy will occasionally go on the run, and I do honestly keep a collar on him so he's not mistaken for a smaller bear.
Which he does. If he's out in the field, he really does look like he could be a bear.
Definitely makes you look twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so recall is important whether you're in town or out of town. So
Yeah.
those are just a few things to think about, and maybe you can apply some of that to your own training. And thanks, Cody, for the idea on the topic. That was
Yeah.
an excellent idea.
Yep. He actually, and he does. He's one of he's the type of person that his dog is on leash, off leash. He can
Mhm.
kind of do either, which that's he's in town sometimes, so it kind of just is.
Okay, I don't know if this is really pertinent to recall,
Okay.
but and I don't know if Cody's going to be happy with me telling his story.
He'll be fine.
But his dog's name is Tucker. Tucker is half husky, half pit bull. He is white with mismatched eyes, and he is just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And Cody was at his place of employment and had left in the morning, and he fell asleep in his car with the door open, and Tucker was with him. And I guess while he was sleeping, Tucker left and went into the store, which had sliding doors. So I guess Tucker was in just walking around the store for quite a while.
Well, I wonder what he found in there.
I don't know, but apparently one of Cody's coworkers uh, called Tucker out and walked him back out to Cody, and Cody was asleep in his car, so he woke Cody up and said, "Hey, your dog was in the store shopping around."
Oh my gosh.
So that was kind of a funny story, and I don't know if that really applies to recall, but
Well, he listened to somebody else, so
Yeah.
he must have decent recall.
yeah,
Uh,
he walked out with him without a leash on, and they went back to Cody. So
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
that was super cute story.
Cody can fall asleep anywhere, for the record.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not surprising he fell asleep in his car.
He's just like his father.
Yep.
Anyhow, but so I think that's all I really have to say on recall, and we are really glad to have you here listening with us.
We hope that you join us next week for some more Real Talk Dog Talk.
And if you do have any questions or comments, again, feel free to contact us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com, and we will be happy to respond or even maybe use some of your comments.
It'd be great.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend.
Goodbye.
Bye.